Welcome back, everyone. If you're tuning in, it means you're a focused learner ready to take a massive leap forward in your understanding of artificial intelligence. Today's explainer is incredibly special because we're looking at the Day 6 syllabus for the OpenAI API. We are officially transitioning away from the absolute basics and getting into the exact tools that developers use to create real, impactful applications. Okay, let's dive into this, because by the time we wrap up our time together today, you're going to understand exactly how to snap these pieces together to build something pretty amazing.
Here is a quick look at our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll kick things off with Welcome to Day 6, move right into the foundational chat and responses APIs, unlock the function calling superpower, learn about enforcing structured outputs, and finally bring it all together in our project, the AI Personal Assistant. All right, Section 1. Welcome to Day 6, from talking to commanding. Moving right along to Section 2, Chat and Responses APIs, building the foundation. So, to get to that commanding stage, we obviously have to build the foundation first. Before an assistant can act, before it can do any heavy lifting in the real world, it needs a brain to process information and a voice to communicate. You can't build a skyscraper without a solid foundation, and you definitely can't build a functional AI assistant without mastering the very first building block, chat completion. When we talk about chat completion in the OpenAI API, we're talking about the core capability for generating conversational text. Think of this as the digital brain of your project. When you shoot a prompt into the API, chat completion is the engine that analyzes your words, understands the context, and formulates an intelligent thought in return. So the crucial point is that without chat completion, your application has zero intelligence. It is the absolute prerequisite for everything else we're going to do today. But a brain just sitting there thinking up an answer isn't quite enough. We need to actually capture that answer. And that brings us to the Responses API. If chat completion is the AI thinking and generating the text, the Responses API is the framework for how we, the developers, actually receive and handle those replies. It's the necessary other half of the conversation. It dictates the exact structure of how the AI talks back to you so that you can complete the conversation loop. You send data out, the model processes it, and the Responses API ensures that the resulting conversational text is delivered back to your application cleanly and reliable. Let's jump into Section 3, the function calling superpower, giving AI hands.
Okay, so now our AI has a brain and it can talk back and forth with us. We are now ready for the most exciting part of the Day 6 syllabus. If chat completion gave the AI a brain, function calling gives the AI hands. It is this magical, transformative feature that elevates the OpenAI API from a simple chatbot into an active, capable agent. And this brilliantly illustrates the massive upgrade we're talking about here. On the left side, we have basic chat. The AI gets a prompt and it only replies with conversational text. It tells you what it knows, but it can't actually do anything. Now look over at the right side, function calling. Here, the AI doesn't just reply with words, it triggers external actions. It can look at your request, realize it needs to check a database, send an email, or book a calendar appointment, and it actually executes that function. It reaches right out into the outside world and interacts with it.
Listen, I want to pause here for a second because this is just so critical to your learning journey. Without function calling, your assistant is entirely helpless in the real world. Imagine having an incredibly smart personal assistant sitting at a desk, you ask them to book a flight, and they look at you and say, "I know exactly how a flight is booked, and I can describe the process perfectly." But because they don't have hands to type on the keyboard, the flight never actually gets booked. That is an AI without function calling. By learning this part of the API, you are finally giving your application the ability to execute tasks and do the heavy lifting for you.
Let's move to Section 4 and see how this builds. Enforcing structured outputs, the organizational system.
So once you give an AI the ability to think and the hands to trigger external actions, you introduce a brand new problem, chaos. If the AI doesn't return data exactly how your external functions need it, everything just breaks. That is exactly where structured outputs comes in. By definition, this is the process of forcing the AI to return data in a strict, predictable, and perfectly neat format. Look, language models naturally want to be creative. They want to give you conversational, flowing text. But computers don't want a conversational chat when they're trying to execute a function. They want structured data. They want neat little boxes with exactly the right labels. Structured outputs acts like a strict manager, standing over the AI and saying, "I don't care how creative you want to be right now. You must give me the exact data I asked for, formatted exactly the way my system needs it." It ensures your API responses are perfectly reliable instead of messy, unpredictable, and chaotic.
And finally, Section 5, Project AI Personal Assistant.
So let's recap. We have a brain. We have a way to talk to it. We gave it hands, and we gave it a strict organizational system to keep it reliable. This brings us to the ultimate goal, where all this theory finally becomes reality. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it reveals the entire secret to mastering this technology. Building an AI personal assistant isn't some insurmountable magic trick. It's simply stacking the 3 API components we just learned. Step 1. Set up chat completion so your assistant has a brain and you can communicate with it using the Responses API. Step 2. Add function calling, giving your assistant the hands it needs to interact with your calendars, emails, and data. Step 3. Enforce structured outputs, ensuring that when your assistant tries to use those hands, it does so accurately and reliably every single time. That's the formula.
You now understand the underlying architecture of Day 6. You know exactly what chat completion, the Responses API, function calling, and structured outputs are designed to do. You are no longer just chatting, you are commanding. So I want to leave you with a provocative thought as we wrap up this explainer. Now that you have the API building blocks to give an AI a brain, hands, and structure, what will your AI assistant do for you? The tools are right in front of you, just waiting to be built. Thanks for learning with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.